I'll do it after I'm not so hungry.
Yeah, Carl, it'll work out easy for you, I promise.
Okay,
Very
good.
nice.
Thank you.
Pam has her hand up.
Yeah, so I don't know if
Yeah, Carl, it'll work out
anybody
easy for you, I
uses
promise.
Facebook a lot,
Okay,
but my mother, which is almost housebound, uses Facebook a lot, and something popped up from a church site that she was looking at about gaining a badge. So I was just wondering if anybody knows what that is about.
What's it called? Gaming bad?
Gaining, she earned a badge.
That's
Oh,
Oh,
something
gaming
new.
badge? Or are you talking about a
A
badge?
badge, yeah, a badge, yeah. There's something new, and I just happened to see it. I didn't read the article, and I didn't even read the headline. I just saw something about badges, and I think that's something you can turn on or off.
So is that specifically something from Facebook, or
yeah,
was it something
I
the
think so.
church set up on their website in Facebook?
Well, they don't have a website in Facebook. They might have a Facebook
I'm talking about a
page.
Facebook page.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Again, I remember seeing something about badges, and I'm presuming it was Facebook. But I would say you would have to do a little research and see if we can find it.
So I'm just looking online. It says this is a new feature in Facebook. Discover new badges to recognize administrators and outstanding members. And they often use it in Facebook groups, which might be a church group that she might have belonged or joined into a church group. And the badges are, this is a new way to recognize people, and you can recognize administrators or outstanding people. It's a Facebook feature and obviously the church group turned that on. So they might want to recognize people who do some extra work for the church or something like that. That's what it is.
Okay, so it's not like earning points or
No.
earn extra features
No, it says
or something.
No. We know an important part of building community is getting to know other group members, new members, blah, blah, blah. You can read about it. It's on it. You can just Google it and it'll give you the information.
And I think there's a way you can turn it off if she doesn't want it.
Okay. The second question is, I know you can cast from your mobile phone onto your Fire Stick or your smart TV. Can I cast my laptop, what's on my laptop, without having to hook up HDMI cords?
Yep.
Yeah,
Is that a feature inside a laptop somewhere, or do I have to download an app?
It's Chromecast does it. Chromecast it should be able to do that right directly onto your TV.
Okay.
If you have a smart TV.
Yeah, you have to have a smart TV.
Well, I have a Fire Stick. Does that count?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, the Fire Stick should work.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they call it casting with Fire Stick. They call it something else, but I think there's just a small app you have to.
There's what I would do is just go to YouTube, type in cast laptop to Fire TV, and there'll be hundreds of videos on that, and it'll give you just choose one of them, and they'll give you a step-by-step approach on how to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Also, Pam, somebody also posted a link on managing badges in Facebook in the chat box.
Pam, go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay, Gerald, I think was next, and then
Gerald.
Yeah, I was thinking about upgrading my Amazon Fire. I think it's a 7th generation. And then it occurred to me that the newer ones have been upgraded in terms of the screen and upgraded in terms of memory, but they have not upgraded the processor. So I think I'm going to wait for another year. But I like the Fire tablet. I use it primarily because my girlfriend uses WeChat, and I don't want to put Chinese software on any other machine.
So Gerald, I did a video on that. So if you watch the video, one of the things that is a change this year is the inclusion of, because traditionally in the past, you had to deal with the Amazon store. You weren't able to go to the Play Store, which is the Android store. And that sort of excluded people who wanted to use Microsoft products. So with the new set of tablets coming out, and there's going to be some stinking good deals. I mean, Prime Day was Prime Day next week? next
21st, 22nd, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, that's the day of the whole century. You want to buy these devices, but there's two big changes. One is is Microsoft Office, which is an Android app, is now pre-installed on all these Fire 10s that are coming out. So you have the full suite of Microsoft products that you can use. But if you buy the one for $210, it gives you a full licensed version of Office 365, which if you have Office 365 on your PC, you can just use this. You can use that subscription to add to your Office 365 on your PC, and it'll extend it for another year, right? If you're on a subscription basis. So it's offering some pretty cool features. So you may want to look at that and depending on what your needs are.
Yeah, I'm aware. I was aware of. I saw your video,
Mhm.
and I was aware of the Office. I did not use 365. I think I actually have the latest version of Office 2019 and 16 and 10. And who knows what else. But I
still have an
don't want to
03.
be tied to a subscription service.
Sure. Well, and but these are going to be stinking cheap. In another week, it's going to be if you want to buy one, that's certainly. The other thing I got to tell you about, Gerald, if you do not know this, but Amazon offers a trade-in.
I saw that.
Yeah. So not only will you get the great deal, right, is you'll offer a trade-in. And one of the things people are doing this week is they're actually putting it in their cart, getting the trade-in value, and not ordering it. It's just sitting in the cart, because when Prime Day comes, it's automatically going to give you the prime price on those tablets, which will even make it better. So that's a thing a lot of people are doing. So they're going to sell a ton of those this week.
Yeah, I mean they are really good tablets. And
I got a $10 coupon this morning from Amazon towards Prime Day.
Yeah.
So that's sitting out there.
Yeah.
I didn't get mine.
Is that trade-in for any brand or just
Any of the Fire tablets? Any of the Fire tablets you can trade them in.
Murray
got
has his hand up.
Go ahead, Murray.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. First of all, I was just going to say that for the thing that I usually do when for example, when I get an SSD and I want to clone the OS and everything onto it, I usually download a bootable version of Linux and then just use the dd copy command to copy it. I know the Samsung thing is a lot easier, it works better and faster, but if you're stuck, that will also work. But my question, and I don't know if there's any real Apple specialists here or not today, but I find that with all of my iMac, my MacBook, very often after the power has been off and I turn it back on, I will get a message saying that the external hard drive that I had, which I use for a time machine, it's a separate one on each computer, was not shut down properly. And I don't, I'm sure it wasn't disconnected, but I just wonder if that's a common thing that happens. It happens on every one of our Mac computers, and it only happens if they have been powered off and then powered back on, maybe several days later. Anybody know anything about that?
I've had the same thing happen.
Do you know why, or is it just a vagary of the Mac OS operating system?
You didn't
I
turn
think
it
it's-
off properly.
This wasn't turned off properly. I mean,
Right.
it's just,
But I mean, what are you supposed to do when you power off your Mac? Shouldn't that, I mean, when you just, click on the button, say power it off, why would it, I mean.
but if you have you said you had a power failure, right?
No. I said after I powered it down for a few days, I do the, go to the Apple thing and say, power it off or shut it down. And I wait till it finishes all its things. And then very often when I power it up again, the next time I'll get that message.
I get the same thing, and I don't know how to power off the that external drive. I mean, it's not like in Windows where you have, you can disconnect your USB connection.
Yeah, well,
If
I
you
could
like
do
have,
that with any other USB drives, but not with the Time Machine one.
yeah, I don't think there's any feature on the Mac to do that.
Well, you can use Disk Doctor or something like that, or the disk utility to power off. If you plugged in a USB stick or something like that, you can do that to power it off. But it doesn't work for Time Machine.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so you don't know the answer to that either.
No, I don't. I just live with it. I haven't had any problems from.
No, I haven't either, but it's just something that I figured I'd ask. if anybody knew.
Contact Apple.
Beg pardon?
Contact Apple. They'll
Have
be
you
happy
tried
to help.
dragging it to the trash can?
Sorry, what?
Have you tried dragging it to the trash can? Drag the icon of the drive to the trash can.
Yeah, I guess I'll try that before I shut it down next time. See what happens.
It's not going to delete the drive, is it?
No, it doesn't.
Oh yeah, it'll reformat the drive.
Yeah. Oh no.
On Apple, that means ejected. It doesn't mean trash it.
And if that doesn't work, you can blame Chris.
Hey, Murray, on my apples, we got 5 of them, and every once in a while that does. And I just shut it down like it's supposed to and reboot it. And usually it comes back up and it works really well.
Oh yeah, they always.
I think it's an inherent problem in this program with Apple.
Yeah, it always comes up. It always comes back, and it always works. I haven't had the only time I had a failure was when the hard drive on the Apple failed, and the Time Machine hard drive failed 5 minutes later.
Murray,
That was a big recovery problem.
Murray, when enough people complain, something gets fixed. If nobody complains, nothing ever gets fixed.
Well, if
Chris-
it's the
Chris
Apple
has his-
approval, it usually takes a long time.
Chris has his hand up and we just have a couple of minutes.
Chris Krasinski, go ahead.
I just pulled it down, but I want to go back to somebody asked about mirroring and how you find out about it. Can you hear me okay? Because I got
Yep.
my.
Yeah. You're hearing fine.
The key word is maybe not mirroring, it's called screen sharing. So when you're looking for things in your on your computer to how to do it, you might want to use that. Now, you've heard this story before, but we use screen sharing for everything from our phone through something called Screen Beam 2. It's a device that allows us to not use our limited hotspot data because we have that. But you can also use the Screen Beam 2 without having an internet connection. So if you go to your friend's house, they don't have an internet connection, you want to show them your pictures or whatever, if you got the Screen Beam 2, you stick it in the HDMI port and Screen Beam to that. That's all I had.
Okay. Also, Jim and Chris Gould posted a link, and it looks like it's Windows 10 to how to mirror Windows 10 to Amazon Fire TV stick.
Sure.
So there's a link in the chat box.
Yeah.
We got about 2 minutes
Thank
left. Is
you.
there anybody new on here?
Anyone want to just
Would
say
like
a
to
quick
say-
hi? Bob, you're not new. You're
old.
You're old. You're
very old.
I see some new names. I see some new names, but they can be shy. That's fine.
Yeah.
I was going to say it earlier, but if you have any problems with Apple, Ron has a personal connection with Tim. He mentioned it last week.
Yeah. Tim, my old buddy Tim Cook. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Tim and I. What do we got? We got a minute left. All right.
At a minute left.
A minute left. We will get ready. Let's see now. We got a bunch of people over on our streaming service, and it's good. Should be a good show. Bob, we'll leave it unlocked, eh?
Yes.
Okay. (9:00). All right. Let's get going. We'll We will mute all. And we will share the screen. Oops.
No sound.
No sound. Right, I forgot to hit the sound. We will do this. We'll try this again. You'd think I'd get it right after 60 some odd. However, the cool part is you cut it out. Tech for Seniors, episode 64. It is June the 14th, 2021. Good morning, everyone, or I guess good day, everyone. It's great to have everyone here. Thank you for coming. Your enthusiasm is infectious. We all thrive on that, and so thank you so much for coming. We have about, let's see, what have we got? About 88 people with our Zoom meeting and a whole bunch over on the streaming service as well. Just want to let everybody know the meeting format today is always a little bit different, whether you're on our Zoom meeting or whether you're on our streaming service. So today, for those of you in the Zoom meeting, the meeting will be, we have a really big meeting for you, an action-packed meeting today for you, and it will be, it'll be on for 60 minutes, and then at the end of the top of the hour, we will have a question and answer period, and we will answer your questions. For those of you over on our streaming service, we'll have, the meeting will go for about 50 minutes, and just prior to the music segment, we'll be stopping the broadcast onto our YouTube service. So it'll go for about 50 minutes, and we don't have a question and answer period for that. So that's a little bit different. So, and don't forget, we tape these, tape all the shows, and you can either watch them as our stream, which you're over on YouTube now, or usually by this afternoon, I'll have the taped version up on YouTube, and you can watch it later on. A lot of people do watch it later in the day. They probably can't make the meeting this morning, so they watch it later on in the afternoon. I usually get the meetings up by about 4 in the afternoon. For those of you who saw our Saturday newsletter, you'll notice that I made a bunch of changes in the Saturday newsletter, and you'll find sort of how do you find thing in YouTube or in Tech for Senior. We've made actually quite a number of videos about this. I went back and looked at the videos Hewie and I and Bob made, and I thought, well, I'm going to put the links and put these into our newsletter, so it's there, and it'll be out every Saturday on the Saturday edition, and all those links are there. My advice is to look at them and then bookmark them, and you'll have them. So, and again, we'll be having our Thursday meeting this week. And this, I'm so excited this Thursday, Tech for Senior Live. We are going to have Bill James on. Yes, Bill is going to be on, and Bill's waving now, and Bill is a gadget guy. And he has given me, I said, Bill, I want you to talk about the top 3 gadgets that you have. So he's told me what they are. I'm not going to tell you anyone what they are, and he's going to reveal those on Thursday. So we're going to have a great talk on Thursday. So if you haven't seen us on Thursday morning, drop by and we talk tech. And so it's going to be a fun morning. Thank you again for those of you who have donated some money for Tech for Senior. We had 2 donations come in this week. I want to thank Roland Thoburn, Thoburn, and Elliot Jones. Thank you so much for generously donating to Tech for Senior. That money goes to helping us keep this on the air and for the services that we do. So thank you so much. This time I'd like to introduce our staff. And Hewie, where the heck is Hewie? There's Hewie. Do you want to unmute yourself and tell us how well you did on Sunday with your Win Sig group? That was really, you had a huge turnout this week, eh?
Yeah, we had 67, which is unusual. Usually we have 30, 35 or so. It was a good crowd. We did a lot of topics, a lot of conversation. I will, the recordings are up, and I'll drop in some links during the course of the meeting that you can go out and watch the video for the Windows SIG. And then right after it, John Kennedy did a talk on free and inexpensive, but mostly free open source software that you can download and run on Linux, Windows, or Macs. And he did a great job. And that's also recorded and online. And we thank everybody who joined us. And you're welcome to. Go ahead.
And it's free. It's free. So if somebody wanted to sort of find out how to come to come to the session on Sunday, how would they do that?
Best way is just go to hewie.net and subscribe to my monthly Windows SIG newsletter.
Great. Thanks. That's great. Bob, how are you doing?
That's fine.
I see by the length of your segment today, the bad guys are winning.
Yeah, and I even had a special one that I put up on our Facebook page that happened after I finished the long video.
Oh my heavens. That's okay. Well, we'll learn all about it shortly. And then Dewey, unmute yourself and tell us about your new deck you're putting up there behind you.
Well, actually, I'm not putting up a deck, but in the extreme upper right-hand corner, in the screen house, I'm installing a 16-inch oscillating fan. Actually, it's a wall fan, and it's going to be great because Joanne and I spend a lot of time out there on beautiful summer evenings. We have a TV out there, and that's our evening entertainment.
Great. Hey, do you realize it's only 4 months till we head down to Mesa?
Well, we'll be seeing you there, I guess.
Yeah, it's not that long ago. And Ray, you're getting ready for RVing season.
Well, yeah, I'm taking a week-long trip. You know, it's getting pretty hot up here. It was 101 yesterday. So I decided I'm going to go to New Mexico only to find out that it's 102 there.
Yikes.
But there's a place called Bottomless Lakes. And then I'm going to check out Roswell, and I'll let you know if there really are aliens there.
Oh, yeah. We went through Roswell. Yeah, that's sort of cool.
There are
we didn't see any
there for sure. We were there. They stole our mail one time.
The aliens did?
Yeah. Swear to God.
Indeed. So yeah, well, have a good trip. You're going to be away next week?
I'll be away next week, but I pre-recorded already my segment, so you'll be able to catch the tune. Excellent. Thanks so much. And if you have not, please, I still find people who are emailing me wanting to know stuff, and the first thing I check and say if they subscribe to the newsletter, because that's where all the information is, and I see that they haven't. So I keep mentioning this, if you have not subscribed to the newsletter, please do so. It really is not a newsletter. It's more of an electronic communication between us and you. And that's really, we're not a membership organization. The only way we know about you is when you come to the meeting, or if you sign up for the newsletter. What happened a year ago was episode 12. This was episode 12. We had actually one of our first guest speakers on. We had Michael Daniels on, which was, I forgot it was a year ago. Wow, we should get Michael back on. We had him on, and Hewie talked about weather apps. And this was episode 12. So if you're interested in the latest weather apps, go back and see episode 12, and Hewie's got a section there on weather apps. Also, just to remind everybody that Ellen Farnham is doing the indexing of all these shows, so that if you want to go back and look at some prior editions of Tech for Senior, and you're
wondering how do I find the weather app, for example, you can actually search that and you'll find it. So we even did a video about it. So it's all there for you. All right, let's get on with the show. Bob, are you ready to roll?
I am.
Bob, I think you got to turn your sound on. You did the same thing I did.
I did.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. Why would you want to share without the sound? They should have the sound as
I've asked them since a year ago to make it so we can do that automatic without any kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They've never done that.
It should be a default.
There are advanced video sharing. If you go into the sharing, you can share advanced and do a video share. And if you have the file locally, it automatically turns on the sound and optimizes for video. It's
I don't
very
like to
nice.
use that. Why is my video paused?
I don't know.
Bandwidth.
I don't know. Do you want me to, Bob, do you want me to start with Dewey's segment, or let's see if we can get you back while you're figuring?
Cool. Do this one more time.
Okay.
We're wasting lots of time, and we have so little this week.
Here is the Avast
There we go.
News Roundup for the week ending June 11th, 2021. Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack was caused by the theft of one single password. Colonial Pipeline CEO Joseph Blount told a U.S. Senate committee that the ransomware attack that disrupted fuel distribution to the majority of the eastern United States was caused by attackers stealing a single password that protected the enterprise's VPN. In the case of this particular legacy VPN, it only had single-factor authentication. Blount informed the panel convened this week in order to examine the attack and other similar threats to U.S. infrastructure. The single password theft cost the company 75 bitcoins, or $5 million, which it paid to the ransomers believed to be DarkSide, a group that has since shuttered operations. Reuters reported that some senators on the panel suggested Colonial should have consulted with the government before deciding to pay the ransom, as paying ransom is an act that goes against federal guidelines. Blount reported that he understood the decision to pay or not pay was a private matter to be handled within the company. Even though they received the ransom key, Blount said the company's IT infrastructure was still in recovery mode. On Monday, the Justice Department announced it had recovered 60 of Colonial's 75 bitcoins, though the value of the bitcoins has decreased. Ransomware gang targets sonic wall devices. Researchers have noticed a ransomware trend developing this year. Cybercrime groups are targeting sonic wall devices in order to breach corporate networks and deploy ransomware. According to the record, this continues a pattern that has been ongoing since 2019, where that angle of approach has been through security equipment itself. In this case, the equipment consists of Sonic Wall's VPN and network gateways. Companies are urged to apply all the latest patches to their equipment and to add two-factor authentication to all Sonic Wall systems. Global crime sting. Some 16 countries were involved in the operation that was headed by the FBI and Europol, along with Dutch and Swedish police. Over 18 months, they had access to more than 27 million messages sent over the Anam app. As a result of the cooperative efforts, police were able to make more than 800 arrests and search 700 locations. The app was installed on stripped-back cell phones that were purchased on the black market, with the platform hidden within the calculator feature. Criminals then divulged plans of drug trafficking, murder plots, money laundering, and more. Police in more than a dozen countries, in an operation dubbed Trojan Shield, were then able to access more than 27 million messages across 20,000 devices, leading to more than 800 arrests, 32 tons of drugs seized, and more than 148 million in cash and cryptocurrency recovered. Read about the fugitive who inadvertently helped the operation get off the ground by following the link listed below. WWDC announces Siri overhaul for privacy. At Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference this week, the company announced that starting with iOS 15 this autumn, Siri will begin processing audio on devices, meaning that users' queries will no longer be routed through Apple's servers. The benefits will be twofold: more privacy and quicker response time. Apple announced other privacy initiatives as well, including mail privacy protection, which will block email tracking, and iCloud Plus, which will encrypt all traffic and send it through Apple servers to mask the user's ID. Read more at The Guardian. Find My will locate your iPhone even when powered off. Another feature of iOS 15 is the ability of the Find My network to locate a user's iPhone even when the phone is powered off or has been factory reset. 9to5Mac posted that with iOS 15, the phone will never really be powered off, but instead remain in a low power state that acts like an AirTag for the Find My network. Users will be alerted of the new feature when the battery power runs low for the first time with iOS 15. To make the iPhone actually turn off, users will have to disable the low power Find My mode in settings. Microsoft, Adobe, and Intel release giant Patch Tuesday updates. This week's Patch Tuesday was a big one across the computer industry, with Microsoft patching 50 flaws, Adobe patching 41, and Intel patching 73. The Microsoft update includes patches for 7 zero-day vulnerabilities, 6 of which have been exploited in the past. The Adobe update includes fixes for bugs found in 10 applications, including Acrobat Reader and Photoshop. The Intel update, amidst its 73 fixes, addresses 5 high-severity vulnerabilities impacting the Intel virtualization technology for directed I/O products, the BIOS firmware for some Intel processors, and the Intel Security Library. Now that you have all this information, make sure that you update. What do security cameras know about you? There's a big difference between those early home surveillance systems and the ones out there today. The difference is the fact that they're hooked up to the internet. So let's take a look at what security cameras in my and your neighborhood know about me and you. Obviously, every neighborhood is different and is going to have varying levels of surveillance. For example, if you live in public housing, you can probably expect that your building has some level of security systems that's monitored by the government agency that rents your building. On the other hand, if you live in a neighborhood that's primarily single-family homes, you're more likely to be watched by a variety of different private home security systems. And if you have shops in the neighborhood, you might also be surveilled by closed-circuit television cameras or other private security systems. Each of these presents a different potential privacy issue. The kind of internet-enabled video surveillance which is prevalent now can have increased privacy risks over more traditional CCTV approaches because it is more widely adopted by private citizens and thus may appear in new contexts. Where you previously expected to be surveilled in a shop, do you now have to expect it in our outside your friends' homes? Avast Chief Privacy Officer Shane McNamee says they're also often set up in a way that involves the recording being transmitted to and stored by third parties on their servers. Unlike traditional CCTV setups, which normally stored recordings locally and for a limited time. If we're looking at just the private home, the top 10 home security brands are Nest Camera, Arlo, Google Nest, Amazon Ring, Blink, Logitech, Reolink, Argus 2, NetAtmo, Welcome, Ventura NP Pro, Canary Flex, and YL Home Camera. Each brand collects different levels of data and does different things with them. So it's going to be pretty difficult to figure out what exactly is being collected, stored in any given neighborhood. For example, some of the popular home surveillance systems are owned by companies that are known to suck up data. Ring, which is owned by Amazon, is the most obvious and well-known example of this. Don't forget about Amazon Sidewalk, which potentially increases this camera's abilities. Others don't. It's really going to vary from company to company. All the companies collect personal info about the owner of the device, both in order to provide the service they paid for and, in some cases, to put into their pool of data about users. They all also record and store video and audio recordings for a set amount of time based on the owner's preference. It's kind of impossible to know exactly what's being recorded and stored about you by your neighbor's security cameras. Additionally, homeowners now post video of package thieves and attempted home entry to hyper-local social media sites like Nextdoor, sharing their information to an even broader audience than ever before. And when and if Amazon and other surveillance companies start incorporating facial recognition software into their product, the privacy implications will be massive. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Well, thanks, Bob. So my Arlo cameras are storing stuff on the line.
So
All
are
right.
all the others.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We will get on now and see what Dewey has to say today. We'll see what he has to say.
Good morning, friends. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is, and today is Flag Day, June 14th, 2021. Tech Talk topic is a tech news update. CNET.com reminded us last Friday that Amazon Prime Day 2021, once again a two-day affair, is coming next week, Monday and Tuesday, June 21 and 22. Both Target and Walmart have announced competing sales as well. There's a gaggle of excellent deals on just about everything, like a $10 discount at Amazon on the Fire TV Stick 4K to 40% off on the TiVo 4K stream at Walmart. Here's a sample of some other streaming bargains. I'll let you read them. On Saturday, June 12th, ReviewGeek.com published an even longer list from Amazon's official Prime Day landing page. Here are some of the more outstanding bargains there. Again, I'll let you read them on your own. CordcuttersNews.com recently reported that ATSC 3.0 is now live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with 6 stations broadcasting at the Next Gen TV standard. This is the 26th market to introduce Next Gen TV. 3.0, also known as Next Gen TV, as you may recall from my episode 55 and 56 Tech Talks, is a major leap in broadcast TV, video, and audio quality that's set to replace the current 1.0 standard in the US by 2026. Participating stations have cooperated to ensure that current programming remains available to all viewers, regardless of whether their television service is provided over the air or by a cable or satellite company. Next Gen TV shouldn't be confused with Locast, a streaming service that provides local over-the-air broadcast TV programs in the US at low cost. Locast is now operating in 32 US markets that cover half of the US population. HowToGeek.com reported on June 12th that the recent release of Chrome 91 had several security flaws that were exploited, including a zero-day exploit. These vulnerabilities in Chrome 91 are present in both the desktop and Android versions. Chrome version 91.0.4472.101 is now rolling out on both platforms with the necessary fixes, and you should install them as soon as possible. Now, a zero-day vulnerability can create complicated problems well before anyone realizes something is wrong. In fact, a zero-day exploit leaves no opportunity for detection. TheVerge.com recently carried a story entitled USB-C is about to go from 100 watts to 240 watts. That's enough to power even beefier laptops. Eventually, the majority of portable PCs will no longer need a proprietary power brick to charge the battery. The USB Implementers Forum, which is known as USB-IF, announced that it's more than doubling the amount of power to 240 watts that can be sent over a USB cable. This means that you'll be able to plug in the same kind of multipurpose USB-C cable you currently use on lightweight laptops, tablets, and phones to charge all but the most power-demanding laptops. Previously, the USB-C power delivery spec topped out at 100 watts. For example, while my own Dell XPS 15 can technically charge over USB-C, it needs 130 watts of power to charge and run at full bore simultaneously. If the USB-IF Implementers Forum is calling the new 240 watt standard Extended Power Range, or EPR for short. You'll need a new USB-C chargers and cables to take advantage of the new spec, of course. All EPR cables shall be visibly identified with EPR cable identification items, reads part of the USB-IF's requirement for the new spec. A cable will need to support up to, that would be USB-C cable, will need to support up to 5 amps and 50 volts to be compliant. On June 9th, TheVerge.com reported that SpaceX's Starlink is in talks with several airlines to beam Wi-Fi internet to their airplanes. Expanding Starlink from rural homes and onto airlines is an expected move for Elon Musk's space company as it races to open the broadband network commercially later this year. A Starlink spokesman said, "We have our own aviation product in development, and we've already done some demonstrations to date and are looking to get our product finalized to be put on aircraft in the very near future." Google announced a bunch of new features via the xda-developers.com website for Chromecast with Google TV and Nest devices. Now, the first is a Sling TV home screen integration, which is rolling out to Chromecast with Google TV. When implemented, Google TV users will be able to navigate and browse live shows served from Sling straight from the home screen. Users will need to link their Sling TV account using the Google Home app on their phone to get started. They can then access the Sling TV guide by navigating to the Live tab, which up until now only worked with YouTube TV, which is of course also owned by Google. Next up, Nest users can now customize which events they want to see in their Google Home feed. If you have multiple smart home devices, the Google Home feed can get crowded quickly, making it harder to track important notifications. You'll now be able to choose to hide notifications from certain categories and prioritize the ones that are more important to you. Finally, listen to this. Google will soon bring a new feature to Nest Smart Display that will allow users to make dinner reservations with a simple voice command. Who would have thunk? Verizon is rolling out its 5G internet service to more US cities this month, bringing the total to 40, according to a story in 9to5mac.com. Along with blazing internet speeds and self-setup, Verizon is hoping to entice new customers by reimbursing them up to $500 for early termination fee costs imposed by their existing internet provider. As I mentioned in my Tech Talk News update in late April, Verizon's millimeter wave network provides the backbone, which is the core network, for their 5G home internet service. Verizon's 5G home internet costs $50 a month for existing customers and $70 for others. Verizon is also offering $100 off your bill if you sign up before June 22nd. Verizon says their home internet service offers up to 1 gigabyte speeds, but averages about 300 megabits per second. And that ain't slow, I gotta tell you. There are no annual contracts, data caps, or throttling, and the price includes equipment fees and taxes. Now here's the new list of cities with Verizon's 5G home internet. You can study them and find your city or your nearest city. As you may remember, Joanne and I live in a western suburb of Minneapolis. Recently, the Minneapolis Star-Tribune newspaper reported that Verizon has installed over 700 new cellular poles, as they call them, blanketing several Minneapolis neighborhoods and deploying a type of 5G technology that allows fast internet speeds but travels shorter distances. In other words, Verizon's 5G home internet. Now, Verizon's service can deliver up speeds that are up to 10 to 20 times faster than fourth generation LTE technology. This could help autonomous cars communicate, enable new uses for virtual reality, and download a high-def movie in 30 seconds, really fast. This photo was taken in a South Minneapolis neighborhood in March. Note the 5G transmission tower at the left. The Star Tribune also mused that Cellular transmitting antennas were once affixed to massive cellular towers, but now hang from school buildings, streetlights, and standalone poles. Well, that's my Tech Talk story for today. And I am sticking with stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Well, thank you. Thanks a lot. That was good. Now, I would encourage everyone, as you all know, this is a rapidly changing area, and look at your internet service provider now, and I would strongly encourage everyone to go out and reassess, because like Dewey said, this is a rapidly changing field and new services are getting added monthly, and you want to make sure you're getting the best deal. And if you've got an old plan that you've been had for years, you probably will get a lot better deal. So go out and reassess this. All right, let's get on. I've got a little something for you today. We'll share that. And let's talk about blood tests.
It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Hey, have you seen your doctor this year? If you did, there's a very good chance they did a blood test. Ouch! A poke in the arm. The needle goes in and my blood flows out to the tubes. But my new smartwatch is going to measure my blood sugar. Will this mean I don't have to get jabbed anymore? We all know that blood sugar is done to diagnose and treat diabetes. But what about a low thyroid, low red blood cells like anemia? Will watches prevent me from getting jabbed? What about the tricorder used by Leonard McCoy, sometimes called Bones, in that famous series Star Trek? No poke was needed to diagnose your ailment. So Stanford and Duke University collaborated on a 50-patient research study. Could the data they collected collaborate to give us an idea what a blood test result might look like? Let's have a look at the study. I'm going to go over that with you now and see what they found.
Smartwatches have been credited with saving lives in several states, but researchers from Duke University and Stanford University School of Medicine have shown that they can also predict the outcome of blood tests. Wearable data on heart rate, body temperature, and daily activity can be used to identify early indicators of some illness, as well as forecast the outcome of clinical blood tests your doctor requests during annual physicals or other appointments, according to the researchers, thanks in part to machine learning. Smartwatches can detect changes in your red blood cell count, dehydration, anemia, and even some illness, according to the study, which was published in Nature magazine. Simply put, the study's purpose was to investigate how changes in in-person blood tests compared to long-term continuous data obtained by smartwatches. The researchers used an Intel-based smartwatch to track 54 patients for more than 3 years, measuring heart rate, step count, skin temperature, and electrodermal activity. The latter is the same metric used by the Fitbit Sense to measure minute electrical changes in your perspiration. Regular clinical visits were also conducted to collect data on heart rate, red and white blood cell count, blood oxygen levels, glucose levels, and other indications using traditional methods, for example, heart rate monitors and blood tests. According to the finding, some combinations of wearable measurements may be able to provide insight into specific blood tests. For example, researchers discovered that a patient's low electrodermal output or lack of sweat indicated that he or she was consistently dehydrated. They also discovered that prolonged increases in body temperature, when combined with a decrease in movement, signaled illness.
a finding that was backed up by higher white blood cell count in blood tests. Variations in heart rate have been found to predict blood oxygen changes. Lower exercise was also associated with anemia when combined with a greater heart rate. However, the researchers noticed that there were certain restrictions. While wearables can capture a lot of information, a lot of it isn't exact enough to forecast the number of red and white blood cells. Heart rate, body temperature, physical activity, and oxygen levels are also insufficient to precisely detect the ailment you may be suffering from. Nonetheless, these are remarkable results with far-reaching ramifications. While further research is needed, there is a strong possibility that long-term wearable data could aid clinicians in deciding therapy in emergency scenarios. Instead of waiting for lab tests in an emergency room, a doctor might hypothetically supplement that testing with your longitudinal data to try and figure out what's going on. At that moment, few of us have access to such information. The issue with existing in-person clinical blood tests is that you must be obtained in person, which can be invasive. Additionally, these tests only provide you a snapshot of your health, specifically your health on the way to your doctor's office. Random things like when you ate last, or if someone stressed you out on the way to the doctor, can affect your results. In a statement, Jesslyn Dunn, assistant professor of biomedical engineering at Duke, stated, "There is a circadian swing in heart rate and body temperature, but these single measurements in clinics don't capture that natural fluctuation. However, gadgets such as smartwatches and Fitbits can track these measurements and natural changes over time and determine when there is a deviation from the natural baseline." Scientists and researchers are well aware of this wearable advantage. Several experiments were launched during the pandemic to explore if smartwatches could identify cases of COVID-19. Although the results of those researches are still being compiled, there is reason to assume that wearables could play a role in determining how to deal with future pandemics. Beyond FDA-cleared ECGs and abnormal heart rate alarms, we're also seeing firms like Apple, Samsung, and Fitbit go into sophisticated health features. Apple and Samsung, for example, are said to be working on non-invasive ways to test blood glucose levels for their next generation of smartwatches. Fitbit has also made little attempt to hide the fact that the company has been working on a solution to diagnose sleep apnea for years. There are still significant obstacles to overcome before somebody can diagnose themselves by looking at their wrist. More clinical research is needed and sophisticated features that will need FDA approval before they can be used by the general public. Furthermore, medical experts are still finding out what to do if a patient shows up for an appointment and presents them a PDF with random data. Wearables will never be able to take the position of a doctor or other medical expert. Nonetheless, research like this holds a lot of promise. In a press release, research co-author Michael Snyder, chair and professor of genetics at Stanford University of Medicine, said, "I think this is only the beginning. Devices are getting more sensitive and capable than ever before. People will be better equipped to grasp what is going on with their own health in real time as technology advances, just by wearing their wearable devices."
That was pretty interesting, wasn't it? So will smartwatches prevent you from getting jabbed? Well, in the short term, your blood sugar for sure. But for other tests, it's going to be a little while and a lot more research. Will all the data that we're collecting on these smartwatches be valuable to your medical professional? Well, probably. Again, further research needs to be done. But we are getting so close. Let's look at two articles I reviewed last week. Engineers at Purdue University have developed a method for converting existing cloth items into battery-free, machine-washable wearables. These smart garments are wirelessly charged via flexible silk-based coil sewn into the fabric. In the not too distant future, all of our clothing will be intelligent. These smart garments will outperform passive garments due to their miniaturized electronic circuits and sensors, which will enable you to communicate seamlessly with your phone, your computer, car, and other machines. This intelligent clothing will not only increase your productivity, but will also monitor your health status and even call for assistance if you are involved in an accident. The reason that this is smart clothing is not yet ubiquitous in your closet is that its fabric is quite challenging, as clothes must be washed on a regular basis and electronics despise water. Purdue engineers have developed a new spray sewing technique for converting any conventional cloth into battery-free wearables that can be washed. The technology industry has consistently improved its foldable displays over the last few years, resulting in a plethora of durable options for smartphone and tablet users. Naturally, the next step would be to create a screen that is not only flexible, but also stretchable, which Samsung has recently accomplished. According to a press release from the Samsung Advanced Institute of Technology, or SATE, a team of researchers has developed a new stretchable electronic skin that can be stretched up to 30% without compromising the integrity of the components. It even includes a built-in heart rate monitor that displays your heart rate directly on the OLED display. Now, you know the routine. You know the click the like and subscribe to the channel. Please do that for us. It really helps us make these videos and keep you updated on medical technology. Till we see you again, Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors.
All right. Hewie, are you ready to roll?
Absolutely. Make sure I have my sound turned down.
Yeah.
Okay. How to pin applications and files to your Windows taskbar to access them easily. I'm Hewie Poplock. How to pin applications to the Windows taskbar. Pinning an application to the Windows taskbar only takes a few clicks, and you can do it directly from the Start menu. First, let's click the Start button or the Windows key on your keyboard. Clicking the Start button opens up our menu. Locate the application that you want to pin to the taskbar and right-click on it. We're going to take Word and we're going to right mouse click on it. In the menu that appears, hover your mouse over the word More. Click on the Pin to Taskbar. If we click once on the word icon on the taskbar, it opens our Word application. How to pin files to the Windows taskbar. You can pin files to the Windows taskbar as well. However, it takes several more steps than pinning an application because you need to manipulate Windows programming slightly. First, we need to open the File Explorer, then go to where the file is that we want to work with. Click on the View tab, and then click on the file name extensions so that a check mark appears in the box next to it. Notice there is no extension on our file name, but when we click this box, File Name Extensions, it now put the extension for that document, which is a docx file. By default, Microsoft has the file name extensions unchecked or turned off. I recommend that they be turned on. So just by checking that and leaving it, if it wasn't it before, you'll have it always checked. And when you check it in one place, it does affect the entire computer. So you'll have your extensions wherever you go in File Manager. When the file name extensions are visible, they will appear at the end of the file name. Right-click on the document you want to pin to the taskbar. In the menu that appears, click on Rename. That's down here. Right-click on the document and select Rename to change its name. Change the doc or docx file extension in your document to exe. So what we're going to do is come over here and we are going to change that to exe. And then press enter. When you do, a small window will appear warning you about changing the file extension. Click yes. So it says if you change the file extension, the file might become unusable. Are you sure you want to change it? We're going to click yes. Now the file name is our example.exe. Changing a file's extension can change the file type itself. Now, right-click on the document, now a exe file, and click Pin to Taskbar. Right here. I click it, it put it down in the taskbar. Your document will now appear in your taskbar as an application. Right-click on the application. A submenu will appear. You right-click on that, click Properties. In the Target field, change the file name so the exe is replaced for whatever the original extension was, which was a docx. So you want to change the file name in the target field to match the original extension. Click the Change Icon button and click the icon that you would like to choose. You're going to have lots of choices. Let's look and see what we've got here. And we're going to try to find one. This one looks like a document. We're going to choose that. I'm going to click OK. You'll see it right here. So pick an icon you'll associate specifically with this document. Before you click OK or Apply in the Properties window, return to the File Explorer, rename the original file so that its exe extension matches its original extension. If you remember, that was a docx. Again, it's going to come up with this window warning. You're going to say yes. Now we have it back to a Word document. Now we're going to return to the Properties window down here. Now we can say Apply and then OK. Now there's one problem, and that is if we close this, you're going to see down here in the taskbar, it's the original icon. If we click that, it will open our document. However, in order for that icon to change, we have to either sign out of your Windows account and sign back in or reboot. We're going to do that to show you what it's going to look like. I can't continue the recording. I am going to stop it, reboot, and then restart the recording so that you can see the new icon in the taskbar. We have restarted our computer. You will see that the icon now has been changed in our taskbar. We can take that icon and we can drag it to a different location on the taskbar. So it's always there in the place where we know to find it. If we click on it, it opens up the document with one click. That's the advantage of having it in the taskbar. You can find it easily, but it also will start with one click and it will open. You can work on that document, close it, save it, and the next time you open it, the changes will be saved. You can continue to work on it. And when you finish that project, and you no longer need it in the taskbar, if you right mouse click on it, you can unpin it from the taskbar. When you do, it goes away and it's gone. So you've learned how to pin an application to the taskbar and to pin a file to the taskbar. Thanks for joining. I'm Hewie Poplock. And there you go.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. I guess if you had a spreadsheet or something, or even a document that you were using all the time, then you could just have it down there, like maybe a document that you kept addresses in or something. You always wanted to refer to that document, eh?
And sometimes you're working on a project and you need to open that file, close it, do some other things, then come back to it. Or when you shut down at night, you want to be able to open it quickly the next day. Once you finish the project, you can